Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in today. This is the Zen War channel, and if you're looking for the truth about the purpose of life, who created us, the reality in which we exist, you're in the right place. So this video here is going to talk a little bit about the experience of enlightenment. Okay, so previous videos have discussed the experience of enlightenment when your symbol lights up on the strip of symbols. Okay, so the Turing strip, if you will, the strip of symbols stops at a head. Okay, and your symbol lights up. Okay, gets enlightened. Okay, that symbol becomes your symbol and then enters the vibrationary field of enlightenment, which opens up and creates a new place within the vibrationary field of enlightenment, a square, if you will, on a grid. Okay, and then basically the symbols of enlightenment there, and that basically the growth of enlightenment is the growth of creation. Okay, and every symbol has its space to grow within, and there exists the alliance at that level, the alliance of no attack, where all the symbols there come to each other's defense in case anyone's ever attacked, but everyone is in an alliance where no one will ever attack anyone ever. Okay, except in self-defense. That's the only conflict that there can be, and no one ever attacks anyone, so there's no conflict. And as that was established there, as above, so below, that same concept needs to take place in the other levels of stories or creation, such as the world in which we exist and are conscious of at this point in our experience. Okay, so this video to talk about a little bit more about the experience of enlightenment. Okay, so when enlightenment happens, I've talked about how you experience different lokas, past lifetimes, possibilities for the future. The experience that you have is just unbelievable and incredibly detailed. If it was to be explained in depth, it would take forever. Okay, you have basically an infinite experience. Okay, at the time of enlightenment. Okay, an infinite one as well. Okay, and I'll explain that in depth a little bit more now. Okay, so when you become enlightened, okay, let's say you're going to experience first at the beginning, you experience your enlightenment. Okay, so the moment of enlightenment. So I was sitting down when I became enlightened. Okay, on a mat, on a meditation mat. Okay, and basically that my brother had bought me actually on a trip he had been on. Which became my meditation mat during my practice. So I basically was sitting down, and at that time, practicing meditation practice, and at that time, Zenwar practice, and at that time became enlightened. Zenwar hadn't been founded at that point. Zenwar became founded after my enlightenment, but using the practices that led to my enlightenment, I incorporated those into the teachings of Zenwar on this channel. Okay, so I became enlightened in that way. Now, what happened basically? It starts by experiencing your enlightenment itself. Okay, so as you're experiencing your enlightenment, you experience all the different ways that you can become enlightened. Okay, and you go through all these experiences. So one of these experiences was, for example, dying. The heart, basically the green heart on the murti, on the idol, basically, of God. So all these experiences of how to become enlightened, because if you become enlightened in one of the ways to become enlightened, you become enlightened in all the ways to become enlightened. You understand? Okay, perfect. So at that point, okay, what starts happening? Then you start experiencing all the different lokas of existence, all the different stories, everything. Okay, so enlightenment at that point, you're basically being awoken to the truth of the story. So you're seeing everything, and basically a lot more. Once again, referring to different videos on this channel, we'll talk more about enlightenment if you want to learn more about that. Okay, what I wanted to talk specifically about enlightenment is that this is the moment that you are building towards during your practice. Okay, this is the sum of your practice. This is the moment that you will be awakened in this computer in which we exist, in the Kal Chakra specifically, and story within which we exist at that level. Okay, to the truth that you live within the computer. Okay, and now at this point you become enlightened being. Okay, everything changes at that time. You're now enlightened. Okay, so at that point, you're basically going to be you're gonna at that point have a story, a storyline, an identity that's going to basically potentially change your identity of who you saw yourself before you became enlightened. Okay, so your identity changes at that time. You'll understand. Oh, look, I had all these past life experiences, for example, right? This is who I am and all this. It changes a little bit who you are. Having had all those experiences and remembering many parts of them. Okay, but what I wanted to talk about, okay, specifically is this is the moment that you want to seize, the moment of enlightenment. When it happens, okay, you can ask yourself, how does it happen? It happens, you basically experience a life as a being, or as a system, whether it's a loka of embodiment or not, that you're experiencing a system view, or a Kala chakra view, or a body embodiment view, or an energy loka view, whatever. You're experiencing it, the loka itself. You're completely immersed with it, okay? And basically, how does it work, okay? Is that you have the experience, and then when the experience finishes, okay, then you go almost like back up to your awareness of you as yourself as a being. Okay, so for example, me, of Sri Sadguru Buddha Ra Bhagwan, okay, basically back to my awareness, okay. Oh, I'm out of that experience. Then go back into another experience, then back to awareness, back to another experience, back to awareness, back to another experience. And you're doing experience after experience after experience, experiencing lokas, past lifetimes, storylines, truths about things, going up. And then basically, as in my case, in my enlightenment, past the Kala chakra, which is all stuff that I already knew, basically. And then from there, Vishnu, all pervading within all the different layers and sub layers of all physical and computers and programs. That is the downward chain of programming of creation, to basically become all pervading in the greater computer, as far as you can go in the computer. And at that point, establish basically eternal life for everyone at all levels in that computer, by basically ensuring that everybody has a paradise to go to, and also ensuring basically a buffer between each different level of programming and subprogramming. And as these buffers are established now, for example, if one layer of programming goes out for something, gets compromised or something like that in one way, well, then the layers underneath, there's a time differential now. So the, that change will actually never happen at the level below. Okay. So that's all arranged. Okay. So basically, to protect all the levels, including the one that's now central, which is the one of the Kala chakra, the level of the Kala chakra, the one within which we currently exist and experience right now within the Kala chakra directly. Okay. So what I wanted to say is that you're going to have this moment of consciousness in between your experiences of enlightenment. Okay. So you have the experience, you're out of the experience, you're back to consciousness, you're back in. This is that moment in your life that you have been waiting for, and you need to push through. Okay. And this is what you want to do. Okay. You will be essentially the sum of your experiences of enlightenment. So what you want to do is you want to get them all, as many as you can get. Okay. And everybody's experience is going to be unique. Okay. Because we all have our identity, but you want to use that moment. So what you want to do is consciously and be aware of this. And this is the importance, for example, of listening to the Zen Warrior channel for this information, right? You want to be consciously aware when you're becoming enlightened, when you're going through this process. You have to push through. So when you have that moment of back to consciousness, you go back to the experience. You understand? Okay? And you keep doing that and all the way through. Bang, 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 bang. So you're going down into the experience and up in experience in the layers of the onion of creation of the computer. Okay? And you need to push through. Okay? And what have we talked about? The term Shri, to push through, to push forward. Okay? And basically, if you do get to a point um, that you cannot go past, that's normal. Okay, don't be frustrated. And and you might think this is not. There's some places I can't go, and that's the security systems, for example, of the computer and all that. As I had my own experience, I made sure to lock everything up very tightly. So there's some places you can't go, but you will be able to experience in wonderful depth. Okay. So once again, capitalize on that moment, the moment of enlightenment, and use that moment to push through and to be conscious to the next experience, to the next experience, to the next experience, to the next experience, and so on and so forth. Okay, and it'll seem like when you're having the experience, you're not aware of yourself, right? As as you as yourself as a being. You're for example you're having for example living a past lifetime, for example. Okay, but some experiences you are aware of yourself, so it's interesting in that sense too. So you'll have fun with that, and basically well, more than fun. I think that's an understatement. So thank you very much for listening. I wanted to basically just do a video on this to basically emphasize the importance of at the time of enlightenment to push through, to push forward, to learn to push through, and basically to go and get as many experiences as you can as enlightenment, because you become, in a sense, in essence, the sum of your experiences, right? We know that this is true also, right? You become the sum of your experiences, as well as who you want to be and who you choose to be, right? So, within the understanding of your experiences. Okay, so thank you very much for listening.